Good evening, folks. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Monday, April 17th, 2023 City Council meeting. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Is it on? Okay, good. Okay, well, folks, we've got some more good stuff going on in the city of TEK this evening. First thing, we have Mental Health Awareness Month. Just want to make a proclamation for that. Whereas the mental health of TEK residents is essential to the continued well-being of our families, businesses, schools, and communities. Whereas every citizen, business, school, agency, and organization is responsible for promoting mental health awareness and wellness through education, advocacy, and support. Whereas the City of TEK and the City Council have partnered with NAMI, Piedmont, to raise awareness of community-based mental health services for children, young adults, and their families. Whereas mental health recovery not only benefits individuals with mental health by focusing on their ability to live, work, learn, and fully participate, contribute to our community, but also enriches the community, the culture of our community. NAMI Piedmont is committed to inspiring hope, facilitating recovery, and building better lives for those with mental health. Now, therefore, we, the City of TEK, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the City of TEK and encourage all to increase their awareness of mental health. For those who are impacted by mental health, know that you are not alone, and we as a community support you. This right here, folks, is TEK. Just so you know, it's TEK. So, thank you, sir. If you'd like to say a few words.
My name is Robert White. I'm the Executive Director for NAMI Piedmont Tri-County. I want to thank the mayor and the council members and the community here as a whole for what you do and how you support those that struggle with mental illness. Also want to shout out to Chief Hasty, Chief Crosby for the conversations that we've had surrounding the support for their teammates. Thank you. And our conversations are just beginning. When we talk about mental health, that impacts probably just about everybody in this room in some way, shape, or form. NAMI Piedmont Tri-County, we advocate, we educate, and we support those that are struggling with mental illness. It's a medical health condition that, if treated properly, it can be very successful. Did you know suicide is the second leading cause of death for our young children up to the age of 27? Second leading cause of death. What is so remarkable about that? Suicide, remarkable. It's 100% preventable. 100% preventable. This is where we need you. We need to get you involved at the community level to educate and advocate for those that are struggling. And that's what NAMI is. We have over 15 different support groups that meet monthly. We have different education classes for friends and family, and there's so much that we have to offer our community. And the most important thing, it costs a participant zero. Because of the community support, like the City of TEK and those abroad, that we can continue this, because there are success stories. So on behalf of NAMI Piedmont Tri-County, I thank you. I thank the mayor for your support and look forward to see what this year is going to bring us. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have a proclamation recognizing Spring Pick Me Up Week, Earth Day, and National Arbor Day for 2023. Whereas April 17th through April 22nd is Spring Pick Me Up Day, or Spring Pick Me Up Week, in the city of TUK. Whereas the city recognizes the outstanding collaboration and efforts to keep America beautiful. Palmetto Pride, Keep York Beautiful, as well as the city of TUK and staff with volunteers who work to maintain the aesthetics of our community. Whereas the city will offer reduced costs for curbside pickups of large items when scheduled through the city from April 17th to April 21st. And whereas in celebration of Earth Day, the City Council encourages all residents to recycle properly, pick up litter in our parks, open spaces, and volunteer to help TUK be beautiful. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of TUK, do hereby proclaim April 17th through the 22nd of 2023 as Spring Pick Me Up Week in observance of Earth Day and National Arbor Day. I really like this one. We've got a special group of folks in TUK that are absolutely phenomenal with their volunteer efforts for TUK, and we really appreciate all that you do for not only the city of TUK, but kids throughout the region. So we've got a proclamation for the Lions Club, and I would like to thank you guys personally for all you do for us, for the city, and for the kids. As we all know, the kids have a special place in my heart, as they do with all of you guys. And so we just really appreciate everyone for their efforts. So, without further ado, whereas Lions Club International is comprised of over 50,000 clubs in over 200 countries and 1.4 million members. Whereas the City TUK Lions Club has served the citizens of TUK and the surrounding York County community since their establishment in 1974. Whereas the Lions Club continues to be an integral part of the City of TUK by fostering and supporting the community through programs such as Recycle for Sight, Bags to Benches, Kids Eye Screenings, Reading Action Program, and the Easter Egg Hunt, which embodies the Lion motto of We Serve. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of TUK, do hereby recognize the Lions Club for their commitment to serving the city. So if all of you guys would like to come up for a minute, we'd love to recognize you. Come on, Liz.
Come on up here, Daniel. Jim.
Get everybody.
And take the picture.
Get everybody up here.
Give orders.
That's right. That's right. Let me know. I gotta keep get Jim. You got to get right there by your I gotta get back. Yes, sir. There you go.
Liz, you get up here. Get up here,
It's
Liz.
okay. Get up here,
Get
Liz.
up here, Liz. I didn't even see you there.
I already told her to get. I know your son. Yeah, get over there on the inlet. Okay. All right.
We thank you all for your support to our projects. We couldn't do it without you.
Thank you.
And if you would like to be a member of the Lions Club, we would love to have you.
Yes, ma'am. You guys doing okay back there? Okay. Great. Mm-hmm. Thanks, man. And another one that we love. This is a proclamation recognizing Miss Mia Ridley. Maybe some of you don't know her yet, but she's got the crown on, and she's Little Miss Earth USA. So, whereas the Miss Earth organization is a platform for women and girls to experience the glamour of the beauty pageant industry while making an impact on the environment, on environmental issues around the globe. Whereas Miss Earth is comprised of multiple age divisions to include a Little Miss division, which encompasses girls who are 5 to 14 years old. Whereas TK's own Mia Ridley, am I saying that right? Mia, okay, was crowned Little Miss Earth USA on January 8th, 2023, and came home with overall junior division photogenic, cover girl, and environmental awards. Whereas Miss Ridley has promoted and actively participates in fundraising for numerous organizations such as Miss Earth's nonprofit, Beauties for a Cause, and also for local animal shelters where she volunteers. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of TKK, do hereby recognize Miss Mia Ridley for her achievement as being crowned Little Miss Earth USA. If you please come forward. Oh, no, we got to have Mom and Dad come on up. Mom and Dad, y'all got to come on up too. All right. There we go. All right. That's our Congratulations. All right. Folks, I just want to say we are blessed with young people in TUK. We are blessed with folks like the Ridleys that promote environmental issues. They participate in their communities. And we also have a young man that we like to recognize tonight. We got a proclamation for Andrew Atkinson as Eagle Scout, which is a big deal. So, without further ado, whereas the Boy Scouts of America first bestowed their highest ranking of Eagle Scout in 1912 and continue to present the award to qualifying scouts. Whereas Andrew Atkinson has proven to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and earned the prestigious Eagle Scout Award. Whereas this award is a distinction that will follow Andrew throughout his life and will be a beacon to others of leadership and commitment that this young man has shown. And whereas the city and the City Council of TUK are grateful for Andrew's hard work in renovating the basketball courts at Rundy Park and for his service to the city as well as the surrounding community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and council of the City of TUK, duly assembled, do hereby congratulate and recognize Andrew Atkinson for his achievement in becoming an Eagle Scout. It is our honor to have him as well and a member of our community. So, Andrew, if you would, please come forward. All right, now we got to get Dad and Mom up here. Dad, brothers, Mom, everybody. Congratulations. Okay. As everybody knows, we love our first responders here in TEK. They do an outstanding job for us day in and day out, night after night, day after day, year after year, and we really appreciate that. So we are going to proclaim that May 4th is International Firefighters Day. So, whereas a firefighter's dedication, commitment, and sacrifice has no boundaries of country, uniform, or language. Whereas firefighters worldwide dedicate and risk their lives to protect the lives and property of those within their communities. Whereas International Firefighters Day is a time where the world's community can recognize and honor the sacrifices that firefighters make to ensure their communities and the environment are as safe as possible. Whereas as a city and the City Council of TEK would like to thank each current and past firefighter, to include those within the TEK Fire Department, for their selflessness and service to the city and members of the community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and City Council of TEK duly assembled do hereby recognize May 4th as International Firefighters Day. Okay. I think that's it. That's all of our proclamations. Whew. Huh? Oh, that guy. Maybe we got to do that one. All right. Well, I'm going to need some help with that. So, Major Patterson, if you would, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. I just want to take a moment to recognize our police chief, Chief Joey Crosby, for all the outstanding leadership that he's provided for us at the department. I'm so very grateful to have him as my police chief. We want to recognize him tonight. He received the Chief Richard Lemunion Leadership Award recently, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. The Chief Richard Lemunion Leadership Award recognizes 5 leaders each year, which are chosen by the Board of Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics of South Carolina. 5 leaders are recognized in honor of Chief Richard Lemunion of Wichita PD as he began the law enforcement torch run back in 1981, when he joined 5 other WPD officers to help raise awareness for the Kansas Special Olympics. TEK PD joins the efforts in raising awareness and funds for the Special Olympics of South Carolina through hosting and organizing the Polar Plunge. With a goal of $25,000 this year, TEK's Polar Plunge raised $82,562 this year. And this is with the leadership of Chief Joey Crosby. And we also had the most participation in plungers at the event itself and actual funds raised since we began 7 years ago in 2016. Chief Crosby received the Chief Richard Lemunion Leadership Award this year for his continued effort and leadership in our community and providing those an opportunity to fellowship for such a great cause. Chief Crosby.
Mayor, Council, I'm certainly honored and humbled to receive this reward. But as many of you know, in leadership positions, we're often recognized for the work of our teammates and how hard they work. So I would be remiss today if I stood up here and accepted this award without acknowledging the people that worked very hard to make this happen. And the officer that was doing our community events for this event and worked extremely hard was Officer Maggie Bowers. And Maggie, come on over. Maggie is our school resource officer, and she put a lot of effort this year into making sure, one, that our kids are safe each and every day, and they got behind this polar plunge, and the school system got behind our polar plunge. But she also made every effort that our community was aware of this and really worked hard to make sure that we reached our goal and exceeded our goals. And without her, I would not be receiving this award today. So I wanted to recognize her for her hard work and say thank you to the community for supporting us. Next year, we're going after $100,000.
Can we make a,
Gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion to enter into executive session this time.
Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session for legal advice as it relates to ordinances being considered in items 5F and 5H.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. We are in executive session. Okay, folks. So, brings us to our next item on the agenda, approval of minutes. Gentlemen, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from last month?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Do I have any discussion? And before you second, you have.
No, it's discussions after the second,
Correct.
right? Try and keep up.
Any discussion? Any additions, any deletions?
No.
All right. Well, all in favor say aye to approve the minutes.
Aye.
Aye. Just want to make sure we're doing everything right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Next up, we have committee reports. We will start off with Council Member Machunas. Please enlighten us on the Economic Development Committee.
All right, so the EDC met at 7 o'clock. I think there were 5 new members that were sworn in, if I remember correctly. So the main topic of discussion, basically the only topic of discussion, was Main Street. Paul, one of the developers, came to share his updates on it, had some drawings. Really, the main portion of it was just bringing everybody up to speed who just had a little bit of hearsay on it. Talked about, if widening the road would be approved and if the city would ask for that to happen, but it's state roads. The plan, it would be a walking community. Hope to have everything submitted within the first 6 months of this year. Be moving dirt before the end of the year. A solid 10 months worth of grading. Everybody's really excited about the amount of parking that was going to be there, so we wouldn't have another Kingsley. And basically, that was about it.
Thank you, Councilman Machunas. That will bring us to the Planning Commission. Councilman Shirley, please.
Yes, sir. Planning Commission did not meet because there wasn't a quorum for the meeting. Ms. Susan, do you know if they've rescheduled or are they just going into regular schedule next month? May 1st, thank you. Okay. Talk to you next month.
Okay. That will bring us to our next agenda item. Consideration of acquisition of golf carts for the TK Golf Club. Our current fleet of golf carts at the golf course is reaching their end of useful life. As such, we need to acquire a new fleet. We do this by selling the carts back to get a trade-in value towards the next fleet of vehicles. The new fleet will consist of 100 new golf carts with lithium batteries. Based on the number of hours used, we should get an anticipated 4 years from the new fleet once they arrive in, which right now we're getting 2.5 to 3 years.
Yeah, so this is year 3 on the current fleet.
So I would welcome our folks from Pinnacle. Please come and enlighten us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, City Manager. You did a good job with that. That was very clear. And is right. This has been the same kind of protocol over the life of the golf course. We'll buy a fleet and then on a 4-year note, and then usually roll after 3 because the battery life is just, kaput at that point on the old 48-volt batteries, which is how all the golf carts were made prior to lithium. So we have an opportunity now to purchase a lithium fleet, obviously more expensive, but has a much longer lifespan. Actually, the batteries will last longer than the body of the vehicle will. So we anticipate this new fleet running at 4 years, doing a 5-year note loan, and then rolling after 4 years. And again, we'll have to look at the trade-in value at that time to see what's the best advantageous move to get the new fleet when we need to roll it again. But right now we're looking at a 5-year loan and then roll after 4 years and trade them in at that point in time.
Could you comment on the charge cycle? How long can we expect a charge to last? Will somebody be pushing a golf cart up 18? When they're done playing golf?
The great thing about lithium is the power and the AC side of it. So these carts will run 36 holes. Where right now we can run barely 18, and then have to try to recharge them. And right now, from a business, the good news is from a business standpoint, we are busy enough. We're having to turn these cars. We're having to run them 36 holes, and really struggling to get them out the door. And we're limiting times on the Cove to try to push more rounds onto the main 18. And so that's the reason for increasing the amount from 90 to 100 in order for us to have enough vehicles to really try to grow the business and grow the volume. But these should get by on a 36 hole in one charge.
So we're going to decrease the cycle time where we can recycle those carts and reuse the carts.
Correct.
Make them more readily available to the golfers.
Yes, sir.
As they're coming through. So now we won't have to worry about, hey, you got to walk at the Cove.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So it's, again, the trade-in value, we'll see it is changing currently. So, these new carts are set to arrive. As everybody knows, the supply chain is a problem now to get new carts. Ours are slated for June. We've already have them reserved, and they've saved that allotment for us. And so we'll roll these in June if council approves the request, and get the new fleet in starting then. So we'll have some challenges up between now and June. Obviously, as the temperature warmer, it makes it a little easier on the batteries that we currently have. But we'll still have some issues that we'll have to navigate till June, and then we should be in much better shape.
Just based on me seeing Councilman Heislip pushing the golf cart down 17 today, it'd probably behoove us to make this happen.
That was like 20 holes because we started on 16 and came back around. We're not gonna make it.
The trip up 18 is challenging.
We took the trail around to avoid that.
Yeah, we missed 18 on purpose.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why you added the extra couple of holes just to.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Will there be any upcharge to cost to retrofit the charging bay in the? Okay.
Yeah, it'll come with the new batteries.
Everything you need.
With the new chargers and everything. It's plug and play as we've got.
Are we going to be charging more for our folks to play around?
We have increased cart fees already across the
Will
board.
there be another increase as a result of these carts?
Not this year.
I've had some residents reach out to see if they could purchase any of those carts. Are they all going to one place, or are they available?
Yeah,
for sale?
they do them in a bulk roll in order to get them all moved. We've
Right,
got
to
90
get the
cars,
deal.
so if we try to do them in onesies and twosies, it'd be difficult. So we trade them in.
That'd be a task.
Yeah, because there'll be another golf course, that'll buy them, refurb them, and put them out as a different level experience than TUK. We'll use these for the next round, and they get pretty beat up after 3 years. Certainly
Yep.
after 4 years, it'll be time to roll them. But with the lithium battery life, they'll be more valuable on the turnaround.
Complete
Question.
random
Good.
complete random question, just as far as for, it's $800,000. Is there from a GPS perspective, at some courses, where you have the screen and all that good stuff, is that anything that we've considered, or is that too much of an upcharge? Just as a convenience, you're saying the experience with TK.
Right.
If you could elaborate just a
We've
little on
looked
that.
at it and from a resort standpoint, or, some of the private clubs would get them, it's very expensive. And so for what we charge here, the upcharge that we would have to provide in order to pay for that, really doesn't fit the model here.
Fair
Well, most
enough.
everybody has it on their phone or their watch or,
absolutely.
So question about utilization. So we're going from 90 to 100 in the fleet, right? So I hate to even ask this question, is 100 enough? So tell me, if you could, what does your utilization look like on a normal day, not a crazy busy holiday weekend or whatever? How many carts are in the garage during the day?
Very, very few. How can I elaborate to that?
Is that right?
This past Saturday, we ran out at 12:15.
Phew. Okay. So is 100 enough?
Yeah, we believe it's the right number. Again, from our year-round basis, if we need some carts during the season, we can always, we have access to, through the company cart. Right now, we have 10 carts from another fleet that we have that we are loaning, and at TK, just because trying to get the 90 to 100, and that seems to be working well.
Got it.
The 100 with being able to turn it immediately is probably the sweet spot. Again, at the cost they are, and every 10 more golf cars, is another $80,000.
Right.
And so the ROI on it, we think is the sweet spot's 100.
And the note is paid from proceeds from golf, right?
Correct. Yeah, the golf course pays as it has, always, because the cart revenue certainly outweighs the expense of it, so it's easily paid for. But the cost, as you can see, has gone up significantly over the years. That's the reason for the increase in fees, and going from the 48 volt to a lithium, as well as, folks talk about inflation. The inflation for our world, the golf world, is significantly more than 7, 8, 9, 10%. We're seeing 30%, 40%, 60% increases in what we have to buy. And so that's the reason for trying to keep the fees. We're still very reasonable to play golf here, but we have to keep increasing fees to pay for the increase in costs, to keep the margins right.
Is there any chance you get balls at a discount?
I got you covered.
All right, Echo.
They're called lake balls.
Mayor's backyard.
All right. and
Thank
Jim,
you. Appreciate the question.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
So, gentlemen, I would like to entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the acquisition of golf carts for the TKK Golf Club in a loan amount not to exceed $746,000.
A motion, do I have a second? Do we have any discussion? Okay. This all came from, we have to push our golf cart today. Just saying.
They acted pretty quick.
Well, I had one leg out
You
kicking.
guys are good, man.
And he was out pushing.
I said,
So-
leave me, Mayor, leave me.
Something tells me they had this ready to go and they rigged your cart.
The thing is
Well,
they did the same thing, yeah.
On a side note, this also includes updating the beverage cart,
Yes, it does.
That's
which is
correct,
a definite need for
Yes.
sure.
Since you brought that up, is that still going to be staffed by the Shore Club, or will that be staffed by Pinnacle?
Still staffed by Shore Club.
Okay.
Difference is the cart will run 7 out of 7 days.
If there's somebody to run it.
But no, Freddie won't have to kick this one off. So,
Just for clarification on that, that cart is rented to the Shore Club, so the golf course purchases as part of the fleet, but then rents it back
Yes.
Got
to
it.
the Shore Club on a monthly basis to try to offset.
Thank
So
you.
we're not carrying all the costs and not getting the revenue. We do lease that car back to them.
okay. Gentlemen, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay. So we're going to stay at the clubhouse for a minute. As everyone knows, one of our big things is to make sure that we're taking care of our assets. So this is some new business for consideration of capital improvements to the clubhouse. The area around the backdrop of the pavilion is heavily used as part of the clubhouse campus. It also is highly visible to all patrons who visit the facility. As personal use golf carts have become more prevalent in the city and frequent the clubhouse, they often park in this area. The course has also been in need to better stage and better stage our fleet of golf carts so that access to and from the storage area is safer for pedestrians in this area. So, gentlemen, do I have a motion?
I'll go. Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the cart staging area project as presented by Pinnacle in an amount not to exceed $89,000.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Gentlemen, have any discussion?
I just want to say a bit up there, walk through it with the gentleman from Pinnacle and yourself, Mr. Mayor, and the big driver of this is safety. It's going to be real important, not cutting them kids. Carts coming around the corner, kids running off the deck. And at the same time, it's going to make a nice extra area for the club and for the residents, so it's a good investment.
Yeah, I agree. I think with the plan that we have now, it lends itself to day-to-day operations. We cannot park all of our carts for tournaments, for extended plays. We can't park of them out there. So the problem gets to be is when we do these shotgun start tournaments, that we can't get all the carts out there to start with. The other thing is we have folks that as it stands now, we have near misses with kids. We have near misses with pedestrians that are coming across that staging area. So what we're trying to do is move the staging area of the golf carts to where it's more accessible for our golfers and it's less accessible for our pedestrians. So with that, we're trying to think of our children. We're trying to think of our families that want to come up there to that area and utilize that area and that green space and make it safer for them. That's the number one thing. The other thing is it would add more, it would be more aesthetically pleasing to our golf course, our complex area, if we had a fenced-in area for those children, if we had grass that's growing there instead of dirt that we're looking at, if we had additional private cart parking. Because we do have a lot of folks that frequent the club. They like to play golf. They like to drive their own cart to the club. So with that, we don't want them parking in the dirt. So we're adding some new private golf cart parking, adding some new concrete for our current storage, and then we're putting a curb area in a fenced-in area to where we can keep our kids safe and our folks safe in the clubhouse. So that's a major focus for us as council, is to make sure that we're safening up everything that we can. So with that.
Hey, quick clarification question. The marked on this diagram here, the existing asphalt and concrete to be removed, I think I know where that is, but is that going to be new grass? Is that what's going in there?
Yes.
Okay. And then the existing cart staging area, is that going to remain concrete? Okay. Is that just going to be used for events at the clubhouse or bands or something? So that's going to stay the way it is, right?
Yeah, it gives us an auxiliary landing pad.
Okay. All right.
To where, we have a regular day. Okay, if we've got a band that's wanting to play out there, we can do the band thing
Okay.
too. And then it gives us the
I just didn't know if that was going to change.
No, that was not
Okay.
changing.
All right. Thank you. I'm good.
So basically a little concrete, a little asphalt, some fence, make it a little safer for everybody.
Good.
So. This is being paid for out of the golf.
Golf fund.
Yes, as well. So gentlemen, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's unanimous. All right. On to the next one. Let's go.
Thank you, fellas.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is a resolution in support of the city utilizing the local government investment pool. So the city believes that utilizing the local government investment pool would be of the utmost benefit to the financial well-being of the city. The transfer of a portion of the city's savings to this investment pool creates the ability for additional annual revenue to be generated. Currently, the city's reserve funds are in an account which accrues at a rate of 0.40%. In comparison, the LGIP recently accrued interest at the rate of 4.87% in February of 2023. So, gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve the resolution and authorize the city manager to proceed with participating in and utilizing the South Carolina Local Government Investment Pool.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. I'd like to thank Bob Barkin for
Yeah,
leading us this way.
for sure.
Uh,
10 times the return rate? You kidding me?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And kudos to Bob. Thank you, Charlie, for introducing this to us, bringing this to us. I wish we could have done that years ago. We'd have a few more dollars anyway to put back, just a
That's
few.
good.
But, all right, well,
Are we limited how much we can put in that fund?
No, sir. We can put as much or as little into it as we want. We can make draws from it at any point in time that we want.
We can, without penalty?
That is correct.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
okay.
Come on, you only won 4.8% with your big stack?
All right, so I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right. Our next business item is an introduction and first reading of an ordinance authorizing the city of TUK to enter into an intergovernmental agreement and participate in one or more programs related to South Carolina Local Revenue Services. The City of TUK participates in the Municipal Association of South Carolina's collection tax programs for business licenses. Historically, these programs were known as the Insurance Tax Collection Program, the Brokers Tax Collection Program, and the Telecommunications Tax Program. Last year, the Municipal Association collectively rebranded these programs as a Local Revenue Services. As a result of the rebranding, as well as the change in the state's business license tax, to continue participating, the city must adopt a new ordinance. This ordinance authorizes the city to participate in the Local Revenue Service Program. Gentlemen, do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the introduction and first reading of an ordinance authorizing the city of TKK to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the Municipal Association of South Carolina and participate in one or more programs related to South Carolina Local Revenue Services.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion?
Just to be clear, you said the word tax 17 times in your introduction? This is not a new tax?
No, this is just a rebranding of the name.
Okay, just wanted to be clear with that, because the word tax was
Not a
used
new
several
tax.
times.
Not a new tax.
Read my lips.
No new tax. All right, well, with a motion and a second.
Thank you, Ryan.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay,
It was 8 times, not 17, just to be clear.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just
The word
8.
tax.
thanks. Appreciate the clarification.
You exaggerate a million times.
I did, sorry.
Just 8, not a
Right.
Okay. Okay, so our new item of business is to, a consideration of allocating funds to RFATs for service vehicle acquisition. The New York County Access North Transit Service began operating in early January utilizing federal transit funding. This new service is designed to build on the existing demand response program that has operated in rural portions of York County as well as in Rock Hill urbanized areas for a number of years. With continued growth north of the Catawba River and the recognized benefits of having a transit service available countywide, this new service is designed to address both current as well as projected mobility and operating needs in our area. In order to fully provide local transportation, it is necessary to plan for additional capital costs such as periodically replacing service vehicles. While roughly 80 to 85% of the will be covered by federal transit funding, a local match component of $36,000 is expected as shared cost among those jurisdictions north of the Catawba River. TK's proportional share is estimated to be approximately $12,000. Gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the proportionate cost share up to $12,000.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. So this here, folks, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I'm going to pat Tom Audette on the back as well. This right here is a promise made and a promise kept. This allows our folks that are disabled. This allows our folks that can't drive anymore. This allows our folks access to transportation wherever they want to go. And Charlie, I believe it's $2.50, is it not, for them to ride? $2.50 for them to ride. And that means you can go to the doctor's office on Randolph Road if you need to, from TK, South Carolina, and back for $2.50. Really? Yes, sir. So what this is essentially helping Fort Mill and us purchase these vehicles so that people can ride on them. I know we all have had our share of riding by folks on TK Drive that need a ride. Myself, I was burdened with this before I ran for mayor. Had an older gentleman that had a sign out that said, "I need a ride home." And so I stopped and gave him a ride home and asked him where he lived. And I was shocked when he told me that he lived on Windward. And I've never seen this man before in my life, but he needed a ride to go get his prescription medication from the Walgreens up the street. And right then and there, I said, we're going to have to do something about this. There's no reason for our folks in TK not to be able to get a ride to get their groceries, to be able to get a ride to get their prescriptions, to get a ride to the doctor's office or the dentist or wherever. And we need to make this happen. So the good thing is this program does not we're not going to have a bus route. So I rallied against that. We're not going to have a bus route. What this is a direct pickup from home to where you're going and back to home. So we don't have a bus route that's going to occur. So this is just it's a great program, and I appreciate you guys being behind me on this one. I think this is going to be great for our disabled folks and for our folks that need a ride. So I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All in favor?
Oh, we need to do that. So I've got a
Got a
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. So our next order of business is going to be an introduction and first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 50, Section 95, and Section 97 of the City Code as it relates to unlawful parking and abandoned vehicles.
We missed one?
No?
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Okay. At the direction of council, city staff reviewed the city's code of ordinances and found that there are no clear penalties for unlawful parking or established procedures for abandoned vehicles. This ordinance will establish fines for unlawful parking violations, define abandoned motor vehicles, trailers, watercraft, and campers, require that any such vehicle be registered, operable, and remain stored inside a building, regardless of being on public or private property. It establishes a procedure to deem a vehicle abandoned and provide authorized enforcement authority to remove and impound vehicles in violation of this ordinance. Gentlemen, do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 50, Section 95, and Section 97 of the City Code as it relates to unlawful parking and abandoned vehicles.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do I have a discussion? Okay. This item comes from,
Are you patting yourself on the back again?
I'm not.
He is.
I'm not.
It's
I'm not.
coming.
No, this comes from a directive from our citizens. They want us to clean up TK. So we got to get rid of all of the abandoned vehicles. We got to get rid of the junk cars. We've got to get rid of the debris and everything around folks' house. Keep your place clean. Take some pride in your community and do what's right by your neighbors in doing so. Keep your place up. Make sure that we don't have an abandoned vehicle that doesn't run with flat tires for the last 20 years. So that's where we're coming from with this. Just take pride in your community, take pride in where you live, and just make it look the best you can. And get rid of the junk cars and the junk around your house. We shouldn't have to make a law about that, but evidently we do. So
Does this mean that Councilman Machunas is going to have to get another new boat this year?
he's giving me his old one, so yeah.
Replace that old
Yeah,
junker
that's
you
it.
got?
That's it.
All right.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right. Next item of new business is an introduction and first reading of an ordinance adopting Chapter 34, Section 47 of the city's Code of Ordinances as it relates to fraudulent checks. Currently, only the Solicitor's Office of York County possesses the jurisdiction to hear cases for fraudulent checks. This ordinance would grant the city's municipal court the same jurisdiction and would allow the city to collect the various fines and fees set forth by the state as it relates to fraudulent check charges. Gentlemen, do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the introduction and first reading of an ordinance adopting Chapter 34, Section 47 of the city's Code of Ordinances as it relates to fraudulent checks.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Gentlemen, have any discussion? Well, we kind of think,
Yep.
we all know where that comes from.
Pretty simple.
Okay. Well, with a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next order of business is an introduction and first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 14, Chapter 38, and Chapter 46 as it relates to public parks, sidewalks, right-of-ways, and other public places. The code amendment that's before council tonight, as we directed staff to address a few vague sections in our city code. The specific sections pertain to businesses regarding peddlers, solicitors, and panhandlers, public parks, public places, sidewalks, and right-of-ways. The way these sections are currently written are somewhat outdated and do not provide enough clarity for enforcement. Gentlemen, do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor and members of council, I would like to make a motion to approve the introduction and first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 14, Chapter 38, and Chapter 46 as it relates to public parks, sidewalks, right-of-ways, and other public places, with the exception of Chapter 38-2, Number 11, to allow for the charging of electric vehicles
Golf carts.
and golf carts, which would be a vehicle.
Good job, guys.
Good job. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
At golf cart charging stations.
Yeah.
Right.
All of that.
All that.
I have a motion and a second. So this, folks, just to be blunt with it,
Are you patting yourself on the back again?
no, sir. No, sir. We would,
Did you hear the word tax in there?
there was no tax. There's no tax. We are not going to support panhandlers. We're not going to support peddlers. We will help them to find refuge in other places. We will help them to try to get them back on their feet through the services that we already help. Pathways, Pilgrims Inn. We've got various men's shelters and everything throughout the region that in the area that we can help these folks get a leg up. We're not helping them by enabling them to panhandle and solicit within our city limits. So with that, if you find somebody that needs some help, they're panhandling, that kind of thing, offer to help them. Offer to give them a couple bucks to where they can get down to pathways, to where they can get down to Pilgrims Inn. Those folks can help them out and get them back on their feet. Direct them to the nearest church. That's what the church is there for. It's there to help people. So direct.
I believe our police department has actually offered to help some of these folks too, to take them someplace
Absolutely.
where they can get some help.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
it's available.
Yep, help is available. So with that, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next order of business is a consideration of approval of a letter of credit and performance, labor, and materials surety agreement for Windhaven Phase 3, Map 2. The Planning Commission is scheduled to approve the final plat for Windhaven Phase 3, Map 2 at their regular meeting, May 1st, 2023. The city has received a letter from the developer's engineer certifying certain improvements have been installed and includes an opinion of probable cost to complete the required infrastructure. The required improvements are intended to be bonded by a letter of credit in the amount of $763,526.77. The city engineer concurs with the amount stated in the developer's opinion of probable cost, and the city attorney has prepared and submitted a performance, labor, and materials surety agreement for council to approve. Gentlemen, I would like to entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the letter of credit and performance, labor, and materials surety agreement for Windhaven Phase 3, Map 2.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Which would bring us to public comments. And our only public comment for tonight is Miss Heather Jones. As a reminder, if you would please state your full name and address.
Sure there. My name is Heather Jones, and I live at 2109 Bonneville Way. I had signed up to speak on items 5, A and B, and I just wanted to start by saying thank you. Like 90% of the questions I came on my little notepad have been answered by that, so I appreciate the transparency in bringing folks in. I am concerned that moving public comments from the beginning to the end might dissuade people from coming because there have been some long meetings, and I'm fortunate in that I know Dad's at home getting the kids down, so I have the time to be here tonight. I would just add, I see the benefit of both sides. I am just concerned that that is dissuading people. Also now knowing I'm the only comment from coming, thinking I'm not gonna be able to stay that late to give my comment, so why go? The only question I had remaining from my original thing, I'm still new to the area, and so my understanding is that the Glennon Center and the associated facilities and things like the golf carts are owned by the city, but that they are under contract with private entities for their execution. So like the golf course, the tennis courts, the shore club. I got a lot of information tonight that helps answer and clear up a lot of that. One thing that wasn't answered was I did notice that we have these estimates and we have these companies listed for specifically the capital improvements to the clubhouse, which it sounds like it's very much about safety. I totally appreciate wanting to improve the parking, but in the past I've seen this go through a bidding process that we've been privy to as the public to see who is bidding to do the work for the fences, who's bidding to do the work. And I'm just curious where these numbers came from and if that process has already happened or if that's something that needs to, if these are just sort of estimates and that process will happen now that this is improved. Just because these are assets to the city and, not every asset has a financial return. Having a place where the community can come together that looks good, that's safe, that has other things are important. But I also feel I've heard y'all talk at your vision boards and things about wanting to make sure we're bringing in money for the city and wanting to make sure that our revenue stream is diverse. So I just want to make sure that as these improvements are happening, that there's also investments happening from the side of those who are being contracted, if that's how it's structured. It sounds like this one is being funded through an existing fund, but more information for the public I think would be helpful because I know I'm not the only one and there's a lot of newcomers in the city. So understanding a little bit more about these relationships and how the businesses and the city interact, I think would be helpful. But again, thank you for all the information you did provide earlier. It has cleared up a lot of that for me. But I would appreciate hearing more about this project going into the second reading in terms of where some of these numbers are coming from, who's contributing what from both sides, from the city side, from the business side, and who's receiving what financial benefits from it. Because as was noted, it is also an improvement that could bring in more business. And so what is the city going to see from both the tangible and the non-tangible returns on those investments? Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. That will bring us to the city manager's report. Mr. Funderburk, if you would, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. As y'all are aware, we hosted our first ever concert out at Catawba Park this past weekend. Thank you to Dustin Overton and our Parks and Rec staff. They did a fantastic job, starting with the park dedication Saturday morning all the way through the concert that night. Extremely well attended. We're estimating anywhere between 2,500 and 3,000 people out there. Fortunately, it's a very big space, so it wasn't crowded, but good time had by all. As was mentioned earlier in the meeting with the proclamation, Spring Pick Me Up is this week. We are offering the discounted collection fees, and all that information is on the city website and on the city's social media page. We'd like to congratulate Brian Wessinger, our building official. He recently passed his qualification exams to become a master building official. This is the highest level a building inspector can achieve. I'm told that there are only 71 people in South Carolina with that designation, only 800 in the country. So if you see Brian, congratulate him. He's put a lot of time and effort into getting that, and is serving us very, very well. Council, my last thing this evening, if you'll bear with me for just a couple minutes. At your retreat in January, you identified the following must-do, should-do, and could-do goals, if you'll recall when we had your retreat with Charlie Baranow. So your must-do goals were pay down debt without taking on new debt and avoid issuing new debt, focus on growing and diversifying the city's tax base with regionally focused retail and service opportunities, specifically brought up city center and Main Street developments, explore additional recreation opportunities to include potential construction of pickleball courts with association funding, conduct business license fee analysis, clean up TGK by increasing code enforcement and develop a social media campaign. Your should-do goals, if you'll recall, were focus on emphasizing aesthetics of all city facilities and signage, seek professional services for possible development of a dog park to include potential public-private partnerships, and minimize residential density. And then finally, your could-do goals were to develop water access to the marina and beach and swim areas. So those were the must-do, should-do, could-do goals coming out of your retreat. So, Mayor, after reaching out to council to work to schedule some budget workshops, I think if you, Mayor, or perhaps another designee from council, can maybe put together what council's recommended action items are from the goals that I've just gone through, and send those to me via email. I think we can possibly avoid having to do that special meeting in May, because basically what we're looking for is a little bit of guidance, if you will. His staff is already heavily involved with developing budgets for the coming fiscal year. So specifically, I'm looking for those action items from these goals that you're recommending for the year to help staff as they work through developing those budgets. So, Mayor, whether it's you or another member of council that will maybe collect those from the other council members and then consolidate those and shoot them my way so that I can have conversations with department heads. I think I can spare you a meeting on May 8th. At least maybe until June. So we definitely want to involve, we definitely appreciate and want council's involvement throughout the budget process, but this is basically what we're trying to look for in May. So, and I think we can avoid a meeting, if you will, if you wouldn't mind doing that. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Funderburk.
Charlie, could you send that what you just did to all of us?
Be happy to. Yes,
Please.
sir. We'll get that to you tomorrow morning.
Okay. That would bring us to council comments. So, Councilmember Shard, please, if you would,
Well,
sir.
first, obviously, I'd like to pat the mayor on the back. Just for being a great guy. Just being funny. Come on. No, same as usual, guys. Police, fire, first responders, can't thank you guys enough for what you do. City staff, you guys are knocking it out of the park. Keep up the great job. Dustin and your team, the concert was awesome. That venue is next level, for sure, as far as, for those of you that made it out there, the space, the room for the kids to play. If you don't like kids and you want to sit over here, there's plenty of room to do that too. And so it's the venue at Catawba Park is absolutely awesome. And Dustin, you and your team did a great job putting that together. But aside from that, guys, I'll shut up. Thanks.
He's got big arms. Councilman Machunas, please.
I'd like to pat Councilman Highslip on the back for being able to push a golf cart up 17 all by himself because the mayor abandoned him. Secondly, as always, Chief and all of our first responders, we do thank you very much for all that you do. You make us proud. Dustin, Charlie, Joey concert was a great success at Catawba Park. One thing I did want to mention, Saturday morning, we did another opening and unveiling at Catawba Park, and 5 of us threw out first pitches to the little kids. One of us threw a strike. Just one of us. Let me pat myself on the back. One thing that's just kind of tough about all that, I mean, it's an amazing facility that's going to bring and give back to this community for years and years to come. But, you know, at the beginning, we unveiled the rock with the dedication plaque on there. And, you know, it just so happens that the 5 of us are on council now when it opened. And it's a shame, but the rock would have to be huge and the plaque on it would be bigger than this whole dais. You know, this was an 18-year dream. And so many people put into that, whether it be prior councils, prior council people, prior mayors, prior everything, and they can't go on that plaque. And it struck me when it was there. I mean, I'm proud to have been a part of it and been on council long enough to see it through, and Ryan as well, and these guys. But it's just we'd be remiss if we didn't thank. I can't name them all, but we'd be remiss if we couldn't thank all the people who put so much time and effort into making this happen. We were just all up here blessed enough that it happened, came to fruition under our watch. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Shirley.
As always, every time I have an opportunity to interact with our first responders, I'm always really proud. I walk away from those conversations feeling really great about where I live, and that the 2 gentlemen that are sitting in here run the organizations that keep us safe and keep our city protected. Really appreciate it. Concert event on Saturday, I was probably one that belly ached the most about going over to Catawba Park for a concert instead of my backyard over here at Rundy. But man, what a pleasure it was. It's such a pretty setting for a concert. Dustin, you continue to exceed your predecessors time and time again. No offense, fellas. But fellas doing a bang-up job. Proud of you. And you got bigger guns, too. But great job. Well done. Well attended. The first fellow that we had perform there, I think he probably had more fun than anybody at that concert. He was really grateful to perform there. My wife and I strolled all the way around the whole venue, saying hello to people all the way around, and it was just such a pleasure. Thank you for putting that on. Members of council, I had mentioned to you that I was going to be attending an event in Hickory for the annual Water for All Summit hosted by the Catawba Watery Water Management Group. Pretty interesting organization. I got a lot of takeaways from managing our water resources and not only water supply, but wastewater, fresh water, things of that nature, how we can be better stewards of our water supply. The best takeaway that I had was some of the relationships that I developed when I was there, people that are doing it right, doing it well, and that we can collaborate with them going forward and make sure that we protect our community as development happens, and making sure that we're being good, responsible stewards of the land that we're developing as we go forward. So I made a commitment to you guys. I'd keep you informed. I'll start sending some information out that I learned and some contacts that I made and some information that might be helpful for us as a city as we go forward on how to make sure we protect ourselves from filling in creeks and streams and our lake and things of that nature. So I'll keep you all up to date on that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Shirley. Dr. Mayor Pro Tem Isaac.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be quick tonight. Chief Crosby, congrats, and to you and your team. You know, one thing I noticed, it's great to see the good leader that you are up there, recognizing your people who, as we all know, as you said, you know, the leaders get recognized, but it's the people doing the work, and we get credit for it. And it's no different than all of us up here when the city does great. We take credit for it, but we ain't doing the work, which leads me to my second thing. And of course, Chief Hastings, you know, excited for the proclamation for Firefighters Day. That's pretty cool. Hopefully we'll do something neat that day. Maybe come try in the SCBA, you know. Staff, you know, Parks and Rec, great job. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it to the first concert, but heard just wonderful reviews. I called a bunch of friends of mine who were there, and everyone raved about it. And so thank you for that. And that is all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Mayor Pro Tem Heisel. As always, first responders, Chief, both of you guys, outstanding job once again. We're keeping everybody safe. The concerts we have at the park is not a small feat to keep everyone safe. It takes planning, it takes execution. You guys once again knocked it out of the park. Dustin, thank you very much for the good job you do for us there. And thanks to everybody who showed up. It was a great experience, great time had by all. And just goes to show what kind of professionalism we have in our city and the folks that work here. If you see one of those folks out, grab them, give them a hug, tell them thanks. It goes a long way. Our folks are second to none in our city, and they do a fantastic job for all of us. So I said, if you get a chance, shake somebody's hand, tell them thank you. It wouldn't hurt. Goes as well with our officers. If you see one of our officers out, please shake their hand, tell them thank you. They do an outstanding job for us. Thanks, Charlie, for the hard work you put in on this too as well. I know Catawba Park, and I agree with you, Gus. I think we need to find a way to honor all of the folks from the very visionary folks that there were. I think way back when there was this young man that I met that was helping me kind of guide me along the path of coaching, that said something about a big old park one day, and I thought he was crazy when we were filling up footballs underneath the backstop over there at Rundy Field. But it came to fruition. It's absolutely a fantastic facility, and hats off to everyone that had a hand in it. We got summer coming around the corner, folks, so I want everybody to be aware that we are the recreational city of Lake Wiley, and we are very, very accessible to water on every side of us. So please make sure that you have everyone in a life jacket that is under the age of 13 on your vessel. Make sure if you don't swim too well, even if you do swim well, when you jump in the water that you got a life jacket with you. I always try to do that myself because it helps me relax and I don't have to worry about sinking. And if you weigh as much as I do, you'll sink really quick. But just make sure that you guys are using your heads when it comes to being around the water. We do not want to have any fatalities, do not want to have any near misses of this summer for accidents with water or anything around water. And just take care of each other. You know, if you see a neighbor that needs some help, give them some help. You see somebody that needs the help carrying in the groceries, give them a little hand. For the young folks out there, mow some grass, wash some cars, you know, learn the value of $1. It doesn't hurt. But most of all, please help each other, love each other, and make sure that you guys look out for each other as neighbors and as citizens of TUK, because that's what we do. And in that, I would like to offer up a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to adjourn.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.